Okay, so you're done with your nursing diagnosis statement. Yes. Doesn't that feel good? Because, oh my God, I know those things can really be a pain when you first start to do them. The next thing we need to do is really get to the meat of our care plan. We need to start to create a patient-centered goal and some interventions for our patient. We are going to center our care for our patient around his nursing diagnosis statement of decreased cardiac output. And so in order to do that, there are a few things that you need to remember as you go through creating goals and interventions. All right. First things first, you need to get real, folks. There's no way, no matter how wonderful you think you are, that you're going to make your patient regrow heart muscle. Do not put in your care plan that you're going to do things that are simply not within your scope of humanness, let alone practice. Okay? The next thing you need to remember when you're doing interventions is that they need to be nurse fixable. You need to be able to pick things that you can actually do. If you put on your care plan something that you could never possibly do in one shift, like I used to do at the very beginning, I would be like super nurse and put all of this stuff on there that I thought I was going to be able to get accomplished. My teacher would put these huge red X's in the middle of it and like question marks and say, really? How did you have time to do all this? You know, she's right. They have to be nurse fixable. They have to be real. It has to be something that's actually doable, right? So as you create your goal statement and as you create your interventions, remember that. Get real, and please let them be something that's nurse fixable. The other thing that I want you to remember is that you need to support your patient, yo. Come on, you're a nurse. This is what nurses do. Our nursing care plans are designed to support the doctor's efforts to get the patient well. So in some way, what we're doing is super important. It's helping our patient to heal, right? Okay, so when we create a patient goal, it needs to be real. It needs to be nurse fixable. And it needs to do something that actually supports the patient. It needs to do something that's helpful, right? All right. So we've got that out of the way. The other thing that's really important here, and that's kind of a pain, is that you need to put something that is timed and it needs to be measurable. Because look, check this out. The only way that you know you've really done that thing, the only way you can evaluate yourself and know that you were nurse awesome today is by measuring it. It has to be measured and there has to be a time frame. So check it out. Decreased cardiac output, we're going to give this guy a goal, something to the effect of complete morning care without dyspnea or dizziness, keeping respirations below 24 respirations a minute while participating in morning care. Inpatient room on to 24. Wow. Okay, so we had a time, we had a number, we had a measure. Awesome. You guys get the gist. Let's move on to interventions. Okay, so our interventions have to help us meet that goal. So whatever it is I say I'm going to do for my patient, it has to help me meet the goal that I just set to keep him no dyspnea and no dizziness and respirations below 22 breaths per minute or 24 breaths per minute, right? Right. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is assess the patient. You got to look at what the situation is. So in this case, I'm going to assess his respirations before we ever start, right? Because there's no way for me to know he's high or above that 24 breaths per minute if I don't know what it is to start with, right? Right. Okay, so I may assess the patient's depth and rate of respiration per minute at rest at 0800 morning care in the patient's room on to 24. That gives me my time, that gives me my measure, and that says exactly what I'm going to do to start this ball rolling. The next part of my nursing interventions is where I'm actually going to act. I'm going to do something. So first I assess, and then I act. I can't act unless I've assessed. So while he's doing his morning care, I'm going to be counting his respirations. And I'm going to make sure they don't get above that number that I set, which was 24. And if they do, then I'm going to take over a little bit and kind of help him move into more of a passive role so that he can catch his breath. Because here's what the thing is. I know his heart's not working right? I know he has decreased cardiac output. I created that nursing diagnosis based off of all that evidence that I gathered. And because I know that I need to help his heart as much as possible. I know that when he gets short of breath, it's because his heart's not working. Got it? All right, so the final kind of thing we need to do is we need to inform our patient, or we need to teach our patient, or we need to ask our patient if they have any questions about what we've done, and make sure that they understand the reason behind it, and hopefully impart to them something that they can take with them when they leave our care. In this case, what I would do is just teach my patient in the room on 224, in morning care, why he's getting dizzy and how to break his activity down into kind of small chunks once he gets home in order to prevent that excess fatigue and exertion. So see how simple that is, you guys? We created a goal statement that was measurable, that was nurse fixable, that was patient-centered, and that helped support our patient. And then we created some interventions that supported our goal. The last thing that's left to do is evaluate, and all you have to do in that step is look back at things and see if you did them. Your instructor does not expect for you to always meet every single goal, so be honest here, And finally, you guys, celebrate yourself, because you are now going to be the biggest care plan expert in your class. You are going to have people coming after you to help you with care plans. I can promise you that. And so get about the job of being nurse awesome. I wish you guys luck with those care plans. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm here. Peace, y'all.